one of the ways they could deal with it.
Yeah. Or if we see that true instinct come into play. It's time for draft for game number 1 here between Nomia and GFE. Thank you very much for your patience out in the HGC universe, guys, as we get into game number 1.
I kind of like to see Nomia prioritize the Ariel. I feel like Ariel is one of the emerging dominant picks of the tournament. And Gale Force, as they like to run a lot of frontliners, if Nomia actually gets to pick in that first rotation there, those 2 picks, I'd love to see them pick it up, as Ariel does very well against frontliners.
Gale Force has also traditionally not played a lot of Ariel themselves. This may have changed, but throughout all of Phase 2, Akaface has only played the hero once, whereas if they pick it, generally it goes to K1 Pro, and they're guaranteed playing a double support. But they're hovering the Uther ban as a possibility.
One of the heroes that I'm definitely watching out for as well for the map is because of the globals that we talked about, Dehaka, and see how much of a priority he's going to get here. From Nomia, I would more expect towards the second rotation a bit of a wacky pick here as well. So we've seen them at the mid-season brawl with a lot of D.Va play that we're trying to use. But first of all, Gale Force, they get rid of Uther here. And that already opens us up with the supports. And we can't, of course, forget about Stukov. We said multiple times now that he gets so much value on the map with the build with Lurking Arm on the 1, 7, and 13 talents.
It was interesting that that went all the way down to 1 second for that.
After a 10-minute pause, you need 44 seconds to think about, or what is it, 59 seconds to think about your first ban.
To ban the most banned hero.
Yeah, but you know that your first ban as well. So it's either an intricate mind game or something else.
Nothing shifting too far from what we anticipated from the meta, what we saw a lot of at Midseason Brawl, which was the Uther and Genji bans. Now Gale Force, what is it that they would love to pick up first here on Shrines? Generally, when they play this Battleground, they're from a second pick position. So they're in a what is not as comfortable spot. It may be Dehaka, as Kaldor mentioned. It is one of the favorites of Michael Udall to play.
If they follow what we said, of course they're not following it because they didn't hear us, but if they have the same idea as us, Dehaka or Tassadar are 2 of the best ways to slow down the game, to allow yourself to play a macro play. And we get that Tassadar. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It is very much in line with the analysis that we are delivering here.
With the ugliest skin, I might add. Continue, Kaldor.
Same.
You have a good point there.
Yep.
Tassadar is always fantastic because he keeps you so flexible. And on this map, the extra AoE, of course, helps you out as well. You can easily empower a ranged carry, but you can also go down the Illidan path, which we have on this map seen several times. So you have a lot of options. You're extremely flexible to react to what your opponent does. And we get to see on the other side for Nomia, not only Oriel, but also the global picked away from Gale Force. And Nomia actually showing some signs of maybe looking towards a more macro-oriented game.
With 2 of the prettiest skins. So I'm okay with
that. That Oriel skin is so good. Although the new one that came out, also very nice.
Okay, that's a question because is there another Dehaka skin?
No, actually, no. The radioactive green one is just...
Okay. It's just a new tint, the green one.
Yeah.
It's beyond anything else.
I think this is the only Dehaka skin. I have seen different tints, but I can't remember seeing other skins.
Okay.
Liking the picks a lot, Dehaka. Again, you keep control of that macro game. Helps a lot against Tassadar. And Ariel is... It's a great pickup. I'm glad they took it for them.
Yeah.
Now, for Gale Esports, I think it will be a big mistake to go into Illidan. Ariel is great against Illidan. The Aegis against the Hunt, the damage, the force disengage or eating the damage. And it doesn't fall in line with having a good early game with just being able to outlast, as Illidan can sometimes struggle against strong early game pressure, which Ariel delivers. Liking the Vala Arthas.
This is, by the way, one of the things that I find always extremely interesting when you compare the different metas that you have from regions, especially, of course, with oftentimes Europe and North America being compared. The priority that Arthas gets overall in NA is, compared to Europe, insane.
Yeah.
He's a great hero for the map, and overall he's a fantastic hero, no doubt about it. But just seeing that massive spike in priority that he gets in North America, I'm sure that Gilly can say more about that.
Well, I was just going to add to that there are certain teams leading the charge on that, and I would say Gale Force is probably one of the most. They play him both as the main warrior and as the secondary warrior, so getting Arthas here doesn't lock them into anything. They could still get another warrior and have a double support later on, and which is maybe what they're going to do, but it also potentially sets them up for the Illidan because they have Arthas, enough so that Nomia ban it.
I mean, in Europe we have seen Arthas for a very long time as a very high priority pick for Infernal Shrines, but that was several months back. So NA has now, so to say, rediscovered that as a high priority. And with the amount of wave clear alone and also area of effect damage through Tassadar, Vala and Arthas that they now have, their shrine control is already fantastic, so they are looking at a very solid start into the draft.
I mean, he's a great choice for a lot of flexibility, as Gilly was mentioning, or just the utility in general, because you can have him have so much stun, so much slow, and he even has some good burst damage as well.
Yeah, Europe started to go more down the Stitches path for a long time, where especially the Slam build offered you the damage in team fights and also then on the shrine, of course, itself. And a bit of a respect ban coming out of Gale Force. I like it. They're saying, yeah, we're not going to take you too lightly. We've watched Mid-Season Brawl. We know what you can pull off if you get a good combo.
And we have a D.Va team too, Freedom.
It would have been interesting though. D.Va and the Haka does not make a full tank per se, and you already have 2 warriors. It would have meant 3 tank or a sub. Like kind of like 2 sub-tanks that don't really work that well as a tank. So it is an interesting one, very targeted towards Nomia, but I just want to compliment the homework here that Nomia has done. As much as they are out there, down under, away from everyone else, like unthinkably far away, they do their homework. They said so. And removing Illidan there made sense. Initially, I wouldn't have liked it for Gale Force, but as soon as that Arthas pickup was done, Arthas is one of the good counters to Illidan, it became a threat since they do not have access to it themselves anymore. Varian Lunara is pretty cool.
This is not what I expected at all, to be honest.
Also,
it's a bit different.
Not as a combo.
Right.
True, but Lunara definitely was expected to go along with the Ariel. She's been going along all day. It's the Varian that's a little bit surprising.
Exactly.
Now, the one thing that I want to say is that I feel Varian at Mid-Season Brawl was, in my opinion, underplayed. I think he doesn't see as much play as is justified by him. And I would have loved to see him a little bit more. It's just that in this draft right now, doesn't seem to fit as much as I would have thought here. I mean don't get me wrong, he has an amazing set of tools that he can use here, but usually what you see with him is either him being played against a hyper-mobile carry that you want to lock down, or you see him with a burst combo.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be for Robodoba, right? Which ended up, Rekaz Zul. But Robodoba was only playing like Muradin, and Ubarak, Diablo, some Stitches in there during their qualification run. So the Variant coming in is surprising, but Zul on the other side for Gale Force. I'm glad that we're actually seeing some more Zul at this tournament, to be honest.
It's all thanks to Alex.
I wonder if the final one will be Greymane or Li Ming for massive burst damage. Okay, so maybe the Cursed Bullet Varian. Of course, this is tried and true combo. And then Varian uses his kind of Mortal Strikes at level 13 to deny Arthas the self-healing, to have Ancestral Healing be less impactful. Everyone just focus on Arthas. Kind of their plan, maybe.
But the thing is, I feel Tassadar only has to make an adjustment on his level 4, and instead of only supporting Vala with additional life leech, adding the armor, would already help to really counter the play here. Since of course, if you play a burst combo with Varian, you're really banking your hopes on the low cooldowns that you use. You have the Cursed Bullet on 13 seconds, and you have the 16-second cooldown on Taunt, so you're always trying to trade cooldowns. Your opponent has to sacrifice an ancestral cooldown, for example, and then a few seconds later you do the same thing again. With Tassadar, if he changes his level 4 talent, you can mitigate a lot of that. And I think overall they have really a problem right now dealing with all that AoE, that wave clear that we're seeing on the side of Gale Force.
I feel like Zul could be a very, very good choice in a macro-focused game for them to then say, this is going for the long haul. We're going up against Oriel. If we see similar kind of Scythe builds to what we saw before, and then into the Mortal Strike, or Mortal Wound at level 20, then that causes huge problems, surely, for the solo Oriel, with the potential of that causing so much disruption.
Not only that, but you've got a hero who relies a lot on his self-healing to be able to be in for a long time. Dahaka is very nice. That's why we see Touch of Death so much as a Malthael counter to Dahaka in the solo lane. So that is definitely a possibility in that build, even though we saw earlier today, we haven't, I think, seen it yet in the North American region, but I would love to see that change up.
Grubby, you've looked like you've been pondering.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see who has the better rotation. Dahaka, he does one lane very well.
Yeah.
He can double lane once. Enhanced agility goes up in stacks, but not right away at level 1. Zul can do a lot of double laning if he wants to. And I'm just thinking, okay, who has the better 4-man, who can catch each other? My conclusion is that I'm not quite sure.
Right. Okay.
Isn't that insightful? But it's going to be down to the map control and the map vision, I think, and not getting picked off in lane. And I think it's important for both teams. They both have tools. It's going to come down to execution, I think.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the playstyle, because what we see on the side of Nomia is a lot of poke. So if they are able to, if Gale Force is in a situation where Gale Force says we have a very good comp to go for the objective, we move in and take position, and then they let Nomia poke up to a point where they're confident now we can take the kills, then Gale Force can definitely lose this in team fights quite easily, as long as Gale Force plays it, as we said earlier, disciplined and relies on their macro game.
Right.
They should have the upper hand. So they need to play into the hands of Nomia, I think, to give Nomia an opportunity.
All right, time to go to the commentary team here for our first game between Gale Force going up against Nomia. Let's head on over to find out who is going to move forwards into the next series here for the Western Clash.
Gale Force taking on Nomia from the land of Drop Bears. Also from the land of Drop Bears, it's going to be Skimmy here. Skimmy, what do you think about your boys here?
Oh, I'm loving this. I'm just so excited to see the boys on stage and actually be here to give them that backing, give them that support, and get it going.
You think they're ready to take on Gale Force eSports?
I would argue this is probably the only team that they have a real true shot against. What I've seen so far from the Europeans, at least, has been so devastating, potentially against some of the other NA teams, but given that Latin America are on the other side of that bracket against Gale Force, if they can cause an upset, really we could see a repeat of what happened in the mid-season brawl.
Well, it's going to be difficult. Gale Force eSports is feeling very content with their composition and their team right now. They have mentioned that it just feels right for all 5 of these members to be together. So let's go ahead and get this started. Here on the left side, in the blue, it will be Gale Force eSports. Michael Udall playing Zul, Akaface on Rhaegar, Caffeine playing Arthas, Fan on Vala, and K1 Pro on Tassadar.
And on the right-hand side, my boys from down under, we've got Team Nomia. Robodover on Varian, Arcana on Lunara, Vanilla playing the Oriole, John on Greymane, and Fat94 on Dahaka.
All right, so Infernal Shrines can see our 5 teams run to the middle here, and I am very curious to see how these rotations are going to be happening for both of our teams. Zul, obviously one of those heroes that you want to get to the middle lane, get those lanes pushing in, and then from there try to get the rotations on the 2 lane sets. Now, it's all about where the shrine spawns from the first pop-up. If the shrine spots at the top, you have the middle and the bottom that you could double soak.
100%. I mean, this is Nomia's favorite map in ANZ, and they're quite well versed against another team known as Darkside that exclusively run Zul on this map. So seeing what Nomia can do on this one, what I really want to talk about, Trick, is that the level 1, it is standard for the Varian, but Colossus Smash is a possibility.
Ooh, Colossus Smash would be a bit crazy, but we'll see if that does come our way here, as Nomia has already set up to deal with that rotation from the Zul, clearing out the middle. We're going to have Dahaka chasing him around. One of the best wave clears you can have on a tank. Nomia would love to maybe get a pick off here and there, but it is pretty difficult against an Arthas in particular when you have that Varian charging in. And speaking of Arthas, he hits a Howling Blast on Vanilla, gets a little bit chunked down, but Nomia will answer back with a heal.
Yeah, for the most part, Gale Force eSports should control these rotations through mid to bot, because especially with the Varian, he's not really that strong until he hits that level 10, as we like to call it, the level ultimate. Robodover is going to get caught in the road, not going to take too much damage at the sort of get-go. Akaface has been punched upon, but Robodover being slowed down by the Tassadar, but they do get out, and it's just trading shots at the start.
Wow, Fan really bringing out that aggression. Fan, in particular, the last few weeks has been really effective on that Vala. He's always been a great Vala, but now that he trusts his teammates, you see him being more aggressive here. He was overstepping in the middle, chasing that Oriole, trying to get them low on health. So Fan looking to have a really solid game, especially with K1 Pro at his back. Now, speaking about builds, let's look at this real quick. At level 1 here from Rhaegar, we currently have the Lightning Bond, as well as you look into the Vala, Hot Pursuit, etc., etc. These talents are really kind of popping up into the Shrine control. They want to clear out the Shrines as much as possible, have the extra lightning there for Rhaegar, and get it cleaned up quickly while Zul is off doing the side pushing.
I mean, what's interesting for me is that Zul's actually in the top lane. The Shrine hasn't spawned too favorably for him, so they can get that double soak and accelerate the XP and do that trade. But right now, Nomia, they want the XP. They want to play that slow game. They just want to hit level 10.
Well, Nomia comes in, bringing all 4 members. And as you mentioned, Zul's on the top, but Tassadar in the middle, soaking up. Both our teams hitting level 4. Very important to grab that when you move into the shrine control. Already, Gale Force in a good spot, 16-9, as Nomia continues to step forward. Arcaner in particular going for that Tassadar.
Yeah, Robodoba is going to jump into the back line. You can see the poison damage starting to split across. Johnny's going to pounce on in, looking for it where he can. Fat94's going in. He gets to first blood, takes out Face, and shows America what's up.
The strength there of the 5v4. Nomia coming in there and getting the pick off on Rhaegar will allow for them to fight back over the shrine. 24-21 tied up, and Gale Force may have to go ahead and get rid, or at least allow for the shrine to continue to go over to Nomia. They put Zul on the top. Arthas goes to the top right. Arthas' main goal here is to make sure Dahaka doesn't get the rotation that he wants. He will slow him down and allow Zul to get that experience gain in the top lane. So nice job there. Nomia is still in a spot, though, where they have to finish off the shrine. 39-29, and they get it. First shrine in the game, going to Nomia.
Looks like Nomia have got the pressure, and this is really good for them. Like I mentioned, they've got the Vari in their fairly early game, but they've got the Dahaka to accelerate that potential to reach the level 10. What I want to talk about, Trek, though, is they've gone for Colors Light as opposed to the standard Colors Embrace, which you'd usually find with a Vala.
Yes, very good here. Keldor mentioned this during the analyst segment. Picking this up allows for them to handle that burst that will indubitably be coming from Nomia later on. The ability to taunt, going into the damage from Greymane, the Curse Bull would probably be a pickup on Arthas. Keeping them alive and healthy and giving that armor for the good 3 seconds after that shield expires is always great to keep your tank in that front line. So Gale Force making the adjustments as needed, as both of our teams are moving towards level 7. Gale Force eSports easily handled that push that was in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Gilly was mentioning on the desk just before that Gale Force are a team that are really sort of heavily focused when it comes to the macro game. But Nomia, I mean, as much as they like to play the macro, this is a team that is all out aggression. We just want to get in your face, we want to cause some problems, and we want to show you that despite not being able to scrim as much, we can run it down and we can find kills.
Well, they have the tools to do so. I mean, looking at it, it gets better at level 10 for them, and they have Dahaka to handle that Zul pressure. In fact, Zul hasn't got as much value you would typically expect from them, as you usually have the Zul, especially with the Shrine spawning in the bottom, getting that middle and that top experience and pushing forward to really keep Gale Force up. And so far, they have not had that opportunity, as Nomia has kept answering back with this 4-man that many would consider pretty weak until level 7, level 10, and on.
I mean, this is a really good sign for Nomia to start things off with. If they're going even against a team which is arguably stronger, arguably the favorite in this matchup, I mean, once level 10's unlocked, I mean, I'm really looking at the Varian, what the choice is. Taunt would seem to be the go-to, especially with that Curse Bullet interaction. But Colossus Smash, we've seen the Koreans do it. It's creative, and it does damage.
It does do damage. You would have to have Lunara follow up. Leaping Strike could definitely be the possibility. You would have Dahaka come in for a rotation. We'll see if that becomes the issue here. Still possibly expecting that taunt, especially if you can get down that Vol and lockdown. But again, the option is available for Nomia. Gale Force eSports on the left side has worked on grabbing the Mercenary camp. They want to get pressure on that top lane. Force the pressure to come in from Dahaka to defend that while Zul deals with that middle lane. And maybe comes in for a Bone Prison and sets up his team for a fight.
100%, and the teams are setting up quite nicely here, both picking up the Shaman camp to time out with the Shrine. We'll be spawning in 5 seconds this time in the mid lane. Once again, I want to see how Zul plays this one. Is he going to go for the double soak to try and reach level 10? Are they going to try and sacrifice that Punisher again? Let's see what the play is.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, getting the double soak is going to be hard with the Shrine being in the middle. Maybe gets a top here, comes in for a fight. I would assume that Gale Force will try to get the engage before level 10 when Aegis comes online. The taunt potentially from Varian, Dahaka with that isolation. So we may see Zul push in the top, get level 9, and then come in and force a fight. If they can grab Ariel, that would be monumental for Gale Force.
Fat94, I think we almost saw Fan94 there, eating so much damage from the boys and Nomia saying, look, still, we're not 10, we have the pain. We are on this objective, 16 little dudes to the 9 of yours. If we can get 10 off this as well, look what's going to happen.
Gale Force eSports is engaged upon. Dahaka comes in from the side. Fan taking damage. Fan will be able to vault away. Caffeine in the front, bringing out the slows there, but he is being chunked. Lunara in particular with that level 7 is just shredding.
Lunara is just doing so much work to keep this team at bay, not to mention the factor of the slowing component, which allows Nomia just to pile on in. Still, we're even Stevens when it comes to levels. Fat94 is going to come across 30 little dudes to the 22. It's looking like Nomia picking up Punisher number 2.
Gale Force has lost its period. Rhaegar's lost out on mana. They did not have the advantage moving forward with the minions being cut out in the Shrine, and Nomia will easily grab this second Shrine, and they're about to hit level 10. They can grab it off the turrets here in the middle. They already have Dahaka in the top lane soaking. Nomia is in a great spot. They're really matching Gale Force when it comes to macro.
Expect to see as soon as this gate drops, Nomia just pile drive in there, look for the play, look for the kill, to combine with John Cena when he leaps in, act like the 6th member, and just bring some pain.
The pain has been brought. They work on the middle lane, but Nomia did not expect to move in here and get any aggressive plays in types of fights. They did get the leaping strike at level 10. We do have the taunt here at level 10 for Varian as well, but they also put Greymane on the bottom. Their main goal there was to open up the map, get some experience running their way. Remember, Lunara, level 13, level 16, becomes deadly in the late game.
Oh, there goes the taunt combo. Curse Bullet is there. Nothing crazy like a Colossus Smash. Fan 94 in the backline. Instantly, there goes the Aegis. Ancestral to follow. Poison Nova spreading around, acting like a Lunara, but it's nothing from this trick. It's just going to be pots, exchange, cooldowns used, and nothing to go for him.
Interesting pickup there from Gale Force eSports, grabbing the Poison Nova and the Strafe. Their intention here is to stress out Ariel so much that hopefully they get a member burned down low enough to where Vala can move forward, bring out that multi-shot, and bring out the auto attacks and get the damage done. Nomia this time was able to walk away, and if they group up, they can get out the heal, but it is a scenario where it could be difficult for Nomia to get kills they want if they want to dive in aggressively against that Poison Nova.
Such a passive game, and I would have said Gale Force should have been the one pushing it with the double route, especially looking to establish that lead pre-10, really exploit the fact that Varian is weak until level 10. But right now, 1 kill is all we've seen. First blood for Nomia. We're still even Stevens when it comes to the XP factor.
Yeah, it's quite the struggle. With Zul, you have this weird responsibility where you want to be able to grab the experience, push down different lanes, break down turrets, but with Dahaka being able to answer back well enough, Nomia had a brilliant early game, and their pressure, their aggressive pressure they had from Varian in particular, allowed for them to get here into that mid game. I am getting kind of worried here for Gale Force eSports as we move into these next fights. The next Shrine is going to be monumental for them.
For an outsider view, if you're looking at this and you go, Gale Force eSports, they're a salaried team in the HGC major region of NA. You're looking at Nomia, it doesn't look like that because they're just going in straight in with the aggression. Caffeine is being picked out. Army Dead is keeping him sustained for the most part. Drag goes across onto Fen, but once again, Trick, pot shots.
Fan at the same time does get the shield, working in those auto attacks. Fat 94 does get the drag on Tassadar. He'll be able to dimensional shift away, but Rhaegar not as lucky as Aquaface taking the damage. Shield comes out at the last second, but still, everyone from Nomia is on full health.
I mean, Nomia just are running. They are playing proactive. They're not waiting for GFE to bring the pain to them. They're going full force, and every single time, Gale Force is surviving, but barely.
Nomia with this massive lead here, and that fire are able to turn around and work on the Shrine, and Gale Force eSports will have to take consolation prizes as they group in the middle, grab the experience, and start putting members in the top. But already, Fat 94 sniffs this out. We'll be able to see Caffeine on the side. Drops down the burrow to get away. Fan coming in for the chase. Can they get the kill? Drag comes in underneath the tower with multiple members coming in. Gale Force eSports will finally get a takedown.
Call was made there. We're not going to go for this Punisher once again. We have to commit these resources to the top lane. We have to get the kill. No adaptation available for Fat 94. Burns the burrow very early on to juke out that Howling Blast and pays the price.
We'll be able to trade on Forts though. They've left Zul on the top. They have to bring Vala and Arthas back simply for the mere fact that they have to be ready for the potential push into the keep. Keep wall could be in danger. So Gale Force eSports now here for the defense. 13-13, and our teams are looking very even. So, Nomia already setting up on the side. I want to see if they can get more here. Nice bait over the wall from our Tassadar. Dimensional shift will be able to get that Punisher in a spot where it can be baited over to different keeps.
This is really good stuff right now for Nomia. They're opening up that win condition in the bot lane. Keep wall has been exposed. Now they've got a straight window straight towards that keep itself.
Look
and given how, regardless they've been strong in this, they've got the ability to keep control of these objectives.
Nomia is just playing heads up right now. Arthas was coming in for a massive flank to set up a 5v4 before the Hawks could rotate in. If you get on that back line onto that Lunara, onto that Ariel as an Arthas, and you're in a pretty good spot in terms of health, that's going to be a position where Vala gets that stray flop, brings in the multi-shot, starts working in those auto attacks. However, Nomia, aware of this threat and not knowing where Arthas was, retreated just in time to delay and prevent that flank.
Yeah, still such a passive game. Both these teams almost filling each other out to start the series off. There goes the taunt once again, collapse. Detainment strike comes out. Ancestral, brilliantly timed across. Is it going to be enough? King Caffeine is dangerously low. He's looking to live. The ghouls are being popped, and the life is still there.
Still, we have Varian moving in. Fan will be locked down for a second here. Udall's on the side here. At the same time, we have Arthas continuing to get healed up. Howling Blast coming out, looking for the fight. Varian still very healthy with Vanilla on the side. Greymane diving forward. Dimensional shift will be used. Michael Udall using Poison Nova.
Arcana's looking for it. Zul is the first one to drop it. The Poison Nova is doing work. Arcana's going to fall. Aegis has to be burnt to keep him alive. Is it enough though? He's still dropping, and he does.
Lennar will fall here. It will be a 1-for-1 trade. Zul for Lennar, but still Gale Force eSports shows that if they can make it through the initial burst, get through the entire fight, drop off their strength and their Poison Nova, they can fight back. It got to an issue where Ariel was not able to get any hope being popped out because Lennar couldn't get close enough to actually bring out the damage, especially fighting around those chokes. And Gale Force eSports takes the opportunity and they run away with it. Now they'll run to the bottom right, grab mercenary camps, get their opponents pushing in, and we've got a game on our hands.
100% there, Trick. I mean, Gale Force are playing so well to respond to this initiation, this aggression from Nomia. Arcafe single-handedly winning these team fights to start them off with these Ancestrals, always keeping King Caffeine alive.
Well, from here, it's all about moving towards level 16. Our team's still neck and neck in experience, as Gale Force eSports will be able to grab the turrets down in the bottom lane, shred them down. And the Shrine activating in 10 seconds currently does favor Nomia. They have multiple members in the top. They're already pushing in with the mercenary camp, so it's going to be a 4-4 trade for both of our teams.
Yeah, the top one is definitely the area, I should say, really for Nomia, where they want to fight the least amount of choke spots for you to escape from. Nomia's saying, well, let's just push this one down. We know this is going to go straight towards the keep. We're looking for 16. We're going to unlock that power level. But to see Gale Force are just like, we'll just respond in the bot lane.
Yeah, this is the issue. Nomia has put a lot of members in the top, but they have no one defending in the middle lane nor the bottom except for Dahaka. Dahaka can't control 2 lanes at once. Nomia will elect to go ahead and move in for the Punisher, while Gale Force eSports takes the opportunity. They move in and they break open this bottom wall.
They're pushing for a keep. They're showing no signs of playing the objective at all. It's all about map control. They want it. They're going to go try and execute onto Ben once again. Hanley Blast comes across. There's the wall. Adaptation needs to be popped. There's the Aegis to buy him some time. He keeps alive. Poison over on top of him, and it's looking like Nomia want to turn this thing around.
They have a 4v5 here. All they're trying to do is keep the keep alive, as they have Greymane working on the Punisher in the top. Nomia has deflected away Gale Force for the moment, but after a couple of heroics been used, they move forward. They start pushing it again. A force wall to help control that left side so Fan can continue to work on the keep.
This is such a heads-up trade by Gale Force. They say, we know that you like to go for these objectives. You get the Punisher every single time. We don't care. We still manage to even what you're going to achieve.
Well, now here's the issue. They have to get away from Nomia. That Punisher moving in the top with Greymane will be a bit of a thorn on their side if they can't get the escape. Fat 94 is even doing his best to hold him in here. He has to play slow. He has to play careful. He cannot get caught out. Misses out on the tongue, so Gale Force eSports will finally be able to retreat.
What's interesting right now is the Punisher is pushing top lane alone. You can see Nomia kind of trying to keep GFE at bay, saying, we don't want you to defend, we want to keep you locked up here, so this pushes top for free.
Tongue coming in with Zul the target. He lands it. Arcanic rounds around. A cleanse will be used, and Gale Force eSports finally gets to the keep, but you're right, that Punisher is still knocking on that front door in the top.
Let's not forget, Kazra in the mid lane are just pushing for free for Gale Force eSports. Although they're not the most impactful, they set out a range off those towers, and it seems to be that Nomia is saying, we just want to respond in the bot lane.
I love this. They're forcing Gale Force eSports to stress out on what they want to defend. Defend the Punisher on the top or defend the 5-man push on the bottom. So far, Gale Force eSports is doing a pretty good job of defending both. They get Zul in the top lane, clearing out those laves. They will lose out on some damage, but they still have the keep. So overall, the last minute and a half favors Gale Force eSports because they have catapult pressure in the bottom.
Right now, I mean, if we look at that Punisher, it's actually done a fair bit of work towards that keep. It dropped it down to a half, so that's not a bad trade considering all things said and done. But Nomia definitely want to even out this map pressure.
Level 20 is going to be a bit fierce for both of our teams here. Vala, of course, with the Farfight cover coming on level 20. Same time, Archon, or not Archon, the extra Force Wall could be a possibility for our Tassador. He also has the potential to move into the multiple auto attack available at level 20. And looking over to Nomia, they have solid late game too, but not to the degree that you're going to have from Gale Force eSports. The only thing I'm really looking at is Ariel with their Shield of Hope being a possibility, as they'll be able to dive in a little bit more aggressively and deal with that Poison Nova / Strafe that will be coming out.
Absolutely. King Caffeine is looking for Robodoba. He is going to ban that protection status for the first 2 charges. They've surrounded him. They are body blocking dogs looking for the kill. Going to force out that Aegis straight away. Force Wall is there. Dahaka in the backline looking to cleave with that Dark Swarm. Ancestral is once again on towards Fen. But now come Nomia. John hungry for kills. Looking for it. The goals aren't there. They're locked in. The Force Wall is so good. It gets the disengage. Fat 94 still alive, but it's not enough.
A crazy 5v5 between both the teams there. Nomia, unfortunately, not able to get that kill. We saw Greymane dive forward, but still not able to get it. And Gale Force eSports will answer back with a Force Wall that locks in the Dahaka and gets the kill there. So 30 seconds until we have Dahaka back on the field. And there was 2 options that Nomia had there. Either A, sacrifice the Varian and have Dahaka continue to push top and get that keep, or come in for the fight. And they went in for the fight. They were looking hungry for some more kills, but sadly, they were unable to follow up.
And going into the series, Trick, did you think this series would be as close as it was?
No, but I'm super happy easy for him, man. I mean, you got Nomia on the right side, the heartbreakers of the tournament, if you will. These are the team that people love. Then you have Gale Force eSports, who's been on the up and up for North America, and both of them seem very evenly matched here. As we move into the late game, a Shrine activating in the next 20 seconds, and if we have this Shrine grabbed by Gale Force eSports, it will be pushing in the bottom lane, where Catapult pressure is already at.
Right, it's going to go straight towards the core, and I think this is really what Gale Force have been working up towards all game long. Wait for that condition to be opened up, because as soon as that keeper's there, they can just go straight for the core and look for that win.
I love what Gale Force is doing right now, too. They're also putting pressure on this top lane, grabbing the mercenary camps. They also were sitting in on all 3 bushes that were available in case the Haka were to go for an aggressive rush stalker in, which you shouldn't be doing at this level of play, but still, covering all bases that are available in case the Haka did come in and pressure the keep. Now, with them having the top lane pushing in, Zul pushing in the middle, they have all the tools in their arsenal to get towards level 20 and then contest over that Shrine in the bottom.
This is such awkward timing for Nomia right now. You can see they're actually going to go collapse. They're going to say, we're going to hit 20, and if we take you out as well, it's a 4v5. You really don't want to fight us right now. They've been abusing him all day long. The 3rd time caught out in the rotation, and with 20 on the horizon, GFA looking to try and close this one out.
Fat 94 living up to his nickname of Feed 94 as he jokingly pokes himself sometimes in Hero League. 20-18, a level and a half here down. Nomia has to get level 20, but they also have to defend as Gale Force eSports is pushing in their top lane and working on the bottom with catapults coming in.
It's been a pretty stale game so far all day long. 6 kills across the board, but it's looking like Gale Force without the objective. They want to go for the core. They want to try and go for the end. They're going on to it so far. The shield is about to fall now. Trek Fen is in the back line looking to try and keep it alive. The core is dropping down to 80%, down to 75. Poison Nova's come across. They're looking for it. Nomia need to do something right now. Find a kill. Aegis is there. It's not going to be enough. The core is dropping, and GFP go 1-0 to start off.
Gale Force eSports grabbing a victory over Nomia, a close one till the end, but the big pick on Dahaka in that top right corner. And you can't really blame Dahaka. Granted, you gotta play on the safer side and make sure you're sitting around those bushes, but the constant pressure on the offlaner was enough for Gale Force eSports to grab a victory.
Such an interesting playstyle from GFP. The fact